Weeknights on 5.
Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Wall Street's raging bull market today soared to another all-time high. The stock exchange doesn't always march in step with the economy, but this time, Ray Brady reports, analysts see a big parade of good news for the consumer.
Wall Street's big bull market tossed its horns and smash, another record broken. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closing above the 1100 level for the first time in its history. 1121.81, up nearly 25 points. Volume came to about 113 million shares, the heaviest trading day in a month. In Washington, President Reagan was jubilant.
Spring is almost here, and nearly everywhere we turn, housing, sales, consumer spending, we see the economy reviving.
Wall Street shared Washington's jubilation about the economy. Also, investors now feel that there will not be an OPEC price war that could damage the world economy, but there will be lower oil prices that will help the U.S. economy.
It's money in the consumer's pocket. It'll filter through every sector of the U.S. economy, ranging from gasoline prices all the way down through the price structure. It gives the consumer more spendable income.
That and lower interest rates could speed up the recovery that Wall Street has been expecting. That expectation of a recovery has sent stock prices soaring. In just 6 months, according to California's Wilshire Index, $100 invested in a group of raw materials stocks is now worth more than $162. $100 invested in heavy equipment stocks is worth $164. In consumer stocks, such as autos and appliances, that $100 is worth $168, and in high-tech stocks, $180.
It's not yet extended to all sectors of the economy, but there is definitely a recovery on the way.
For the entire stock market, prices have gone up around 44% in just a few months' time. So after such a climb, the market could pause to catch its breath, though most investors feel the big bull market still has a way to go. Ray Brady, CBS News, New York.
There's another indication today the economy may be reviving. The domestic automobile industry reported its first profitable year since 1979. That was capped by word from Chrysler, which suffered the worst corporate loss in history in 1980, that it earned its first annual profit in 5 years in 1982. The automaker said that in spite of a fourth quarter loss, it cleared $170.1 million last year. Chrysler said that profit was largely due to tax benefits from previous years and the sale of its defense subsidiary. But there's a cloud for the silver lining. Dun & Bradstreet, the business information company, today reported that business and corporate failures for the week ending February 17th totaled 713. That's the highest weekly figure since the Great Depression. Included in those figures, as world oil prices fell, were 3 large Houston-based oil and gas exploration firms. 1982 saw the largest number of business failures since 1932, but so far this year, the weekly average tops last year's. In Paris, oil ministers of Venezuela, Algeria, Kuwait, and Mexico met today. It was an attempt to halt the oil price war in its tracks before next week's emergency OPEC summit. And Mexico said it's postponing a price cut it had intended to announce tomorrow. In Riyadh, Saudi Arabian oil minister Yamani met with his counterpart from Libya. In Washington, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee voted today on the nomination of Kenneth Edelman to be the new U.S. Arms Control Chief. Bill Jones reports that when the smoke cleared, the nomination was sent on to the full Senate, but with no praise.
The Edelman nomination made it out of committee today and headed to the full Senate. At the end of his third committee appearance, Republican leaders tried what they knew would fail, committee approval. That motion lost 9-8, and Majority Leader Baker, a committee member, moved quickly with a compromise.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the committee report the nomination of Kenneth L. Edelman to be Director of the Arms Control and Disarmament Agency unfavorably.
This passed 14-3. It was in effect a vote of no confidence, but it got the nomination to the floor, and the president telephoned Baker to thank him. Prior to the voting, the hearing turned into what one member described as a carnival atmosphere. Opponents subpoenaed a journalist in an attempt to discredit Edelman, who had denied that he had given an interview saying nuclear arms negotiations were a sham.
These notes that I have are accurate. They accurately reflect what Mr. Edelman said to me on May 20th, 1981. I distinctly heard Mr. Edelman say to me the word sham. I have no doubts about that, Senator.
Sham is not a word I use. It's not a word in my vocabulary. It's not a word in my normal life.
My view, as I also expressed in the column, was that it became inconvenient for Mr. Edelman for other reasons to acknowledge that he said this.
It was conflicting testimony that changed no minds and only hardened the views of opponents.
But history has now developed a situation where you've become a symbol. The major beneficiaries of that symbolism, the Soviets. The people who've been most hurt by it, the president.
Late today, the White House announced that the president is fully committed to Edelman. But the nomination remains in trouble. One Democratic senator has promised a filibuster when the matter comes up the middle of next month. And some Republicans are saying that even if confirmed, Edelman has been bruised and that European allies and the Soviets will never take him seriously. Phil Jones, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
These days, people are holding on to copiers that have seen better days, or pumping hope into rebuilds to save money. But now for just $28.95, Canon gives you the one touch more. Starts instantly, makes 12 copies a minute on plain paper, reduces, enlarges, yet uses far less energy than other copiers its size. So why blow it? Get Canon's One Touch More, NP125, for just $28.95. For information, call toll-free.
Fiber is one of the things nature puts in food, and fiber is one of the things we take out. If we take out too much fiber, we may become irregular. That's why doctors recommend Metamucil more often than any other laxative. Metamucil is made from gentle grain fiber. Natural fiber your digestive system needs to work properly. Now a delicious new strawberry flavor, too. Metamucil, for the fiber you need every day.
These developments tonight in the Environmental Protection Agency controversy. President Reagan denied any scandal bubbling up at the agency. Rita Lavelle, recently fired as head of the EPA Toxic Waste Cleanup Program, claimed her phone was being tapped. No idea who, no idea why. Susan Spencer tonight tries to unravel some other EPA mysteries.
EPA's newly unemployed seem to know exactly why they were fired.
After all, we're big boys here, and we know the political expediencies that are there.
With conflict of interest, fraud, and cover-up charges swirling around the agency, the only expedient for the White House was to move fast, adding new faces to top jobs and creating the impression, at least, of a sparkling clean EPA.
The President and I are trying to reinstill a sense of public confidence in the agency, and we have accepted the resignation of 2 of our managers.
Is there a scandal brewing over at EPA?
No, there's one brewing in the media that's talking about it.
But though no wrongdoing has been proved, the media does just keep getting material. Item, the FBI today began its investigation of why EPA officials shredded documents. Item, a congressional committee listening to fired Superfund chief Rita Lavelle describe mismanagement also heard an audio tape of employees joking about burning documents. Item, the 2 men fired yesterday both are under investigation for allegedly using EPA time and people for personal jobs. And they are only the last in a long line to leave. Under Administrator Burford, there now have been 3 general counsels, 2 semi-independent inspectors general, 2 policy chiefs. Of the original 6 assistant administrators, only half are left, and permanent staff vacancies at lower levels abound. A byproduct, according to the Natural Resources Defense Council, is that of regulatory actions planned, half of them are behind schedule. Another 90 put off or dropped entirely.
The agency is constantly reorganized and the policies change. So the middle-level managers don't know what their goals are. They don't know who's working for them. They don't know whom they're supposed to listen to. How are they supposed to carry out the very, very explicit mandates in the environmental laws?
The jury is still out on the question of whether this political controversy actually is hurting the environment, but there seems little doubt that it is hurting the White House. The question, can it really all be solved without the resignation of Administrator Burford, who seems to have no intention of going anywhere?
I'm not a quitter. I'm there to do a job.
Susan Spencer, CBS News, Washington.
Authorities in Las Vegas today said 4 men have been arrested for allegedly stealing 24 tons of cannon shells from Nellis Air Force Base and trying to sell them to an undercover agent. A prosecutor said this is the largest seizure of these types of munitions in United States history. A sick-out by police and firefighters in Columbus, Ohio, wound up its second day tonight, with officials warning fatigue could wear out skeleton crews working overtime. One person died and 2 others were seriously injured when a 2-story house burned. Officials said there was no delay in response time, but they noted the firefighters had been on duty for 56 straight hours. A wage dispute is behind the so-called blue flu epidemic.
What kind of people drink Sanka brand? People like Joe Zabrowski, underwater welder.
I love my coffee, but too much caffeine makes me tense. Down here, I can't afford that. So I drink Sanka brand decaffeinated coffee. In this sea air, hot coffee tastes especially good. And Sanka brand's 100% real coffee. So for me, it's just smart to drink Sanka brand.
Sanka brand, for people who love coffee, but not caffeine.
Birthdays aren't unusual, but for some people, they're extraordinary. People who were heading for a heart attack that could have been fatal, but instead never came. Never came because of a remarkable DuPont product, which can detect heart disease without diagnostic surgery, and when it's still early enough for doctors to do something about it. So, though DuPont makes many diagnostic tools, you might say we really make birthdays.
Happy birthday.
DuPont, better things for better living.
What's 300,000 light years long and several times larger than the Milky Way? Cornell University astronomers who found it aren't sure either. But it seems to be an intergalactic cloud of hydrogen gas 1 billion times more massive than the Sun. Think about it. The astronomers discovered it by accident recently while aiming their scopes at parts of the sky that seemed empty of galaxies, leading one astronomer to speculate that this mass of gas just might be a galaxy that didn't make it. Well, viewers were warned to turn away last night if they were squeamish, but the surgeon said when you show them pictures, you get their attention very quickly. It was, Barry Peterson reports, a medical and television first.
It looked like Hollywood make-believe. Lights, camera, action, even a genial host to help us along.
Please join me now with our surgical team for the operation.
Good evening in the studio. Can you hear us all right?
Loud and clear. It was live primetime television, complete with color commentators, but primetime television with heart, a real heart.
Dr. Kiner, can I interrupt you one more second?
Surely.
We're at an important point of the operation now. I don't want you to miss this.
And miss it you couldn't, not with 4 cameras stationed around a real operating room. The master of ceremonies, Dr. Edward Dietrich, a skilled surgeon who has done as many as 9 coronary artery bypass operations in a day. The patient, a retired insurance salesman, 62-year-old Bernard Schuler. It took nearly 2 hours, the surgical team carefully transferring the heart's pumping job to a special heart-lung machine, the heart itself slowing to a stop. 3 arteries that normally carry blood to the heart muscle were blocked, so surgeons used a vein from the patient's leg to stitch in 3 bypasses. This sort of telecast has been done many times for medical seminars. Never before has the television public been invited in.
I don't care whether it's a heart surgery, whether it's a football game, whether it's a presentation. The impact of a live presentation is certainly greater than something taped.
The idea was to let television viewers see the sort of operation often needed after years of eating the wrong foods or smoking or not exercising, the causes of heart disease. It was television designed to create a guilty conscience. The triple bypass was beamed into 33 states from coast to coast, from the operating room to the living room.
Extraordinary.
As for patient Schuler, he told the press beforehand he wasn't worried much about the surgery, but all this attention got to him.
Right now I'm nervous as hell, but about what? About just sitting here.
Well, I mean, is it nerves? Is it a combination of us and the operation?
Just you.
Me. Some doctors worry about the precedent of doing an operation on live television. In the recovery room, Bernard Schuler, in stable condition, was doing just fine.
Can you just wave your right hand here a little bit? Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, that's real good.
Barry Peterson, CBS News, Phoenix.
As you know,
Tom T. Hall, what are you doing?
Working on a #1 hit.
Oh, a new song.
No, a Tyson Chicken Quick breast patty.
Tyson Chicken Quick? A #1 hit?
Yep. More people pick them than any other patty. They're 100% breast of chicken.
100%?
100%. Most other brands aren't. And the patties are part of a whole family. Hoagies, fillets, sticks.
Oh, then it's a family album.
That's it. Tyson's greatest hit.
Mr. Post?
Need some help?
I'm your Bell System Yellow Pages representative, here to help you.
I'm in the Yellow Pages.
Look at all those trees.
10 acres. We specialize in dwarf fruit trees.
Say that in the Yellow Pages, where 4 out of 5 people let their fingers do the walking.
That is helpful.
Hi.
This is Mrs. Post.
I'm interested in all your fruit trees.
Oh, you must have a big backyard.
Get the Yellow Pages talking.
Dwarf fruit trees.
Let your fingers do the walking.
Defense Secretary Weinberger said today that any agreement to withdraw foreign forces from Lebanon might require the temporary enlargement of the multinational peacekeeping force. While he didn't say it, that presumably would mean committing more U.S. troops. President Reagan told journalists yesterday he'd be willing to enlarge the force if need be. And at the Pentagon, Bill Lynch reports tonight that officials are saying it could take around 50,000 troops to police a Lebanon withdrawal, with a U.S. contingent of about 10,000 men. Lynch reports that U.S. Army units would probably replace the Marines. Day after day, the toll of dead and mutilated goes up in the Indian state of Assam. The massacre of some 50 people was reported today, and this pushes the official death total to more than 3,500 in the violence between Hindus and the Muslim immigrants they hate. In New Delhi, Gordon Joseph reports the true depth of this horror may never be known.
The carnage and devastation is bad even by India's sorry standards. Thousands killed in violence that's continued for 3 weeks. More than 2,000 of them, mostly women and children, were slaughtered during a 2-day massacre in Assam state. Not since India's founding in 1947 has communal violence taken such a heavy toll. Survivors fled to refugee camps. More than 40,000 have now sought government protection, fearing new attacks if they return home. Yet as appalling as the atrocities are, they've stirred relatively little public outrage in New Delhi and elsewhere across India. Though some newspapers headline the bloodshed, most, along with government-controlled radio and television, played down the news.
Not many people are aware of what exactly is happening.
No, I didn't hear any news.
Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's government wants to keep details of the slaughter from the public, worrying that news of major disturbances could trigger factional fighting in other areas. In Assam, state elections touched off the violence. Assamese natives fearing they'd be outvoted by immigrants from Bangladesh. But here as elsewhere in India, the underlying cause of factional violence is poverty.
The basic trouble is our economy. The people must have sufficient money to eat and to live properly.
Here, there's another reason for the Indian public's indifference to the carnage. Most victims are not native Indians, but had moved across the border from Bangladesh. So while Indians flock to movie theaters to see the dramatization of their nation's violent birth, the catastrophic clashes between Hindus and Muslims, they won't see much about today's sectarian fighting unless someday it too is made into a movie. Gordon Joseph, CBS News, New Delhi.
For the second time in 10 days, police in Italy have arrested a Soviet citizen on charges of espionage. Police claim the oil company executive was an accomplice of a Soviet airline official picked up last week. Rebels in El Salvador are claiming another victory. They say they have regained control of northern Morazan province following the withdrawal of a U.S.-trained battalion. But one Western observer says he thinks the battalion is only being rested. He says the pullout should not be seen as a government defeat. Morazan has been one of the war's main battlegrounds, and as we hear in this report narrated by Ed Rabel in New York, the rebels come prepared.
It looks like political theater, a carefully crafted ballet. It is not. It is deadly serious business. They are training people to fight and kill government soldiers guerrilla style in El Salvador. CBS News purchased these pictures from Salvadoran filmmakers who are sympathetic to the rebels. The film is designed to show them at their best, and that seems pretty good. What you are seeing, we are told, took place last July and August in Morazan province, scene of the bloodiest, most intensive fighting of the war. During this campaign, the rebels said they were able to capture truckloads of arms, ammunition, and supplies, a lot of it from the United States, left behind by government defenders. What is revealed here is a key rebel battle technique. The objective is to first overtake a lightly defended town, knowing next government reinforcements will be sent into the terrain, which is well known to the guerrillas, perfect for ambushes. On August 22nd, we are told, government troops fell into the rebel trap. The government suffered 53 casualties, according to the guerrillas. We were not told about any rebel losses. Some of the government troops hid themselves in a cave. This is what happened when they refused to come out. These were among the lucky, if that is the word. There were 23 prisoners, some of them from among the 1,600 Salvadoran soldiers trained at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. This man is a prisoner of the rebels too, but not just any prisoner. He is Colonel Francisco Adolfo Castillo, El Salvador's Vice Minister of Defense, who was captured last July after his helicopter crashed in rebel territory. He says he's being treated well, but the guerrillas continue to hold him as a bargaining chip in negotiations. So far, the government has refused to negotiate. It says it can win by force of arms, a policy the United States supports. Neither side is winning the war militarily. But in the war of propaganda, the guerrillas seem to have an edge. While the government is accused internationally of killing and torturing innocent civilians, the rebels are turning over prisoners of war to the International Red Cross, making sure these pictures are taken for the world to see. They are not without a sense of public relations and understanding of the modern needs of rebellion. Ed Rabel, CBS News, New York.
3 documentaries by the National Film Board of Canada were officially labeled political propaganda today by the U.S. Justice Department. 2 of them about acid rain, the other nominated for an Academy Award and featuring a nuclear weapons freeze advocate. Because they are deemed officially propaganda, says the Justice Department, these documentaries must carry a disclaimer at each showing in the United States.
Really now, how can you tell if you're buying a quality paint? You can't kick it like a tire or squeeze it like bathroom tissue. But there is one way. You can buy Glidden, a brand that's been proving and improving its quality since 1872. In fact, now you can buy famous Glidden spread satin for only $9.99, the same low price as last year. Glidden, we keep our promises in the can.
In business, some people want to look good at any cost.
Send this to headquarters by one of those overnight systems.
It's about $20.
But some look good for less.
Send this overnight to headquarters by express mail service from the post office.
The express mail 2-pound pack is only $9.35.
Hey, we deliver over 60,000 packages on time every day.
You want to look good.
Headquarters likes your style.
And we make you look good for less. Express mail next day service from the post office.
It's a great day. Well, he's not the father of the bride. I am. He's my Aetna agent. I met him when my Susie was her size, and my business wasn't much bigger. From day one, he's worried as much about my business as I have. Do I have enough insurance? Or too much insurance? Do I have the right insurance? And thanks to him, I'm free to worry about other things. Like how I'm going to pay for all this.
Call your Aetna agent.
Aetna, I'm glad I met you.
One product of this society is what one man calls throwaway kids. They are often homeless, often involved in street crime and drugs, and they can mean trouble. But in one home, Bruce Morton reports, they mean love.
It's an ordinary farmhouse on a 2-lane Kentucky road. It is also a refuge, sometimes a last chance.
I was in institutions from the time I was 10 to I was 17.
Meet Todd, not his real name, who lives in the house.
I hit the streets, joined up with several different gangs, got into drug dealing, drug trafficking, and robberies, burglaries.
A judge offered Todd a choice between jail and this house, so he came to the home of Cheryl and Lottie Dickens, their son Richie, their daughters Angie and Vicky. Todd and Joey live here now, 2 of 13 young people, 18 or older, too old for most agencies and programs, who whom Lonnie and Cheryl Dickens have treated with an old-fashioned therapy.
I think first of all we love them and accept them right where they're at. And we expect them to give in the way of taking on a different kind of lifestyle than what they've been used to.
That means being part of the family. When Vicky went to cheer at an 8th grade basketball game, the family went. And Todd and Richie practiced jump shots during the intermission.
So kids learn responsibility, respect, consideration, growing up in a family that has that. Now, the kids that come here are treated just like their own.
That means that work is shared. Routine chores like cooking and washing. Less routine chores like feeding Snowy, the family pony.
Yes, there you go. There's my Snowy with a little kiss.
It means that religion in this very religious family is shared. Every meal begins with prayers.
Keep us on the right track of what you want us to do.
Religion is what first got the Dickenses involved, more or less by accident, in trying to rescue what they call throwaway kids.
We feel that the Lord's calling us to this. This is where he wants Lonnie and Cheryl to be at this particular time in her life.
Lonnie used to be a carpenter, but he and Cheryl now work with the young people full-time, supported by private donations. They hope to expand out of their house into a separate facility, larger, room for more kids. Joey is the first one they took in a little over a year ago. He says their system works.
I still have a lot to learn about getting my life together, because it's not together yet, but I'm on my way.
What do they do that was good for you? Why does this place work?
Discipline.
The drive to go back to the streets is always there. It's something that I'll just have to battle with for a long time. But I like it here. I like what goes on here.
Walk away, I finally recognize the Lord.
And at Immaculate Heart of Mary Church on Sunday, they played a special song. Todd wrote the lyrics.
People used to laugh and call me names. Tell me I would never be worth anything. But when they see me today.
An older hymn says, brighten the corner where you are. The Dickenses live in a very bright place. Bruce Morton, CBS News, Bellevue Bottoms, Kentucky.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this Thursday. Dan Rather reporting from New York. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
In spite of backbreaking interest rates, unemployment, and recession, we've done what the experts said couldn't be done. We built a new Chrysler Corporation. We built it on high mileage and front-wheel drive, on K-cars and LeBarons, convertibles, luxury cars, sports cars. We build it on quality. That's why we back every new car we build for 5 years or 50,000 miles. Before you put your money down, think. You can go with Chrysler or you can go with somebody else and take your chances.
An IBM office system can do something amazing. It can take people from anywhere in a company, whether they're across the hall or across the country, and electronically link them together so they can share many kinds of information. And IBM designs office systems to make any size business more efficient. And that makes it easier for everyone to get their jobs done quickly.
I'm Diane Sawyer. Fascinating facts about the Soviet Union. A tribute to Alan Alda, and Buffalo Bill's Wild West show rides again tomorrow on the CBS Morning News.
This is CBS.
And in our news tonight, Governor Alexander hints there